Good morning once again. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. We come live with you right now. Dangerous tornado is on the ground. Let's go ahead and pull up our main radar here for you real quickly. And we'll skip all the good intros and stuff. Just, of course, make sure you guys are sharing the broadcast. Again, with the dangerous tornado on the ground, we'll make sure we're getting as much spread out as possible here. So, real quickly, want to zoom in on this area where the tornado warning is now being shrunk, but this has been observed at one point. Right now, it is radar indicated, but I believe about 5 to 10 minutes ago, it was actually observed on the ground as a dangerous tornado. It started back out here toward Island City, Blake and Sturgeon, Kentucky. Now working its way east, went through the Taft area. This is where we absolutely observed a correlation drop. So once again, if you're kind of newer in here, this is the correlation coefficient drop chart. You see how it's kind of scattered. Then you have this one area right here as a bulk white show up. That is the indication that a tornado did touch down and threw debris high enough up into the air for the radar to actually pick it up as a signature. So a pretty dangerous tornado on the ground out there. Hopefully it's come back up at this point. We wanted to go ahead and trigger the live broadcast because we are still seeing signs of some pretty strong rotation. These are significant wind gusts that are ongoing here. Even if this is not a tornado at this point, it's likely producing up to 70 to 75 mile per hour straight line winds. But I do still feel confident seeing all the abundance of lightning that we see around here just outside of the area of the rotation, that this is likely still on the ground at this point as a dangerous tornado here in eastern Kentucky. Once again, this is from Morris Fork, Dalesburg, Buckhorn, Crockettsville to Beach to Gaze Creek in eastern Kentucky. So for those asking where it's at, there it is on your screen there. Once again, I'm not going to focus on too many areas. I want to focus on the dangerous tornado that's on the ground. So please hold your questions if you have any about other forecasting areas there. But once again, I want to point out to you that those of you that are coming in here, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with W&K. It's already been quite the long morning here, and it's still ongoing out there in far eastern Kentucky. If you would not mind, please tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen. Since we do have a dangerous tornado on the ground, I want to make sure we're sharing the broadcast as much as possible. You never know, someone who sees what you shared may be impacted by this. So thank you very much for all of you that are sharing the broadcast. I appreciate you doing your part. Thank you so much for that. Once again, if you are just now tuning in here, we've had several tornado warnings already this morning, but this is the most significant one so far because this is the one that has been observed as it's going. Once again, pulling up the velocity charts here, you can see pretty clearly indications of rotations, and this is the first time we've seen a blue or purple pop up with this. This is a pretty strong signature of rotation embedded within this supercell here. First real supercell it's got it going today. Once again, this started all the way back here where you see this yellow arrow on your screen, just to the west of Island City, going toward Taft, and now making its way over into Lucky Fork, Morse Ford, and the Buckhorn, where you see the current red arrow. That is where the best pocket of rotation is. And if we pick up this correlation coefficient chart, once again, I want to show you, if I could pull this back and maybe pause it. Right there. Just missed it. Let's try that again. Just quick, I might have to slow this down. Yeah, I'm going to have to slow this down. That is so fast. Right there. And I still missed it. Either way, you still kind of see it right here too. But back out here to the west in Taft is where we saw a big drop occur. Once again, on this chart here, it's called the correlation coefficient. It does a lot of things. But in the middle of a tornadic cell, if the tornado is strong enough to lift debris up into the air and throw it into the atmosphere, this chart right here will pick up on it and show a really bright signature. Now, these scatter spikes up here, nothing to worry about. These are pretty normal. But where you get this concentrated area, this circle here, that is where your indication of that debris being lofted up into the atmosphere is or was over the past little bit. Once again, does look like it's on the weakening trend now, but this has been pulsing up and down, so I'm not going to let this broadcast go at the moment because I've been watching this for the last 20 to 30 minutes. And because it was pulsing up and down, we didn't trigger the broadcast because I figured it would kind of just go away. This is not in a very, very favorable spot in the atmosphere. It's actually heading towards some higher terrain, so the odds are that this will die out. But I do want to stay on the broadcast here with you. Again, southern Kentucky and eastern Kentucky here is starting to really get going with things. Some nice wind gusts happening out here. Severe thunderstorm warning just issued for Laurel, Pulaski, and Rockcastle counties until 9 a.m. Eastern time. The main hazard there is 60 mile per hour wind gust. I do want to also mention that there's a severe thunderstorm warning associated with the one near Buckhorn, and that one has a significant damage tag or considerable damage tag with it. And again, it's had that all the way to its back here in Annville. So it's basically made. Let me go ahead and pull this out a little bit. Pull out a drawing tool here from WeatherWise. It looks like they're going to go with a severe thunderstorm warning at this time, which is probably correct. It probably died down. Of course, I was probably just late to the game. But it started back out here, made its way here. And this entire way, it had a considerable threat tag with it for 70-mile-per-hour winds. We posted it twice on Twitter and Facebook, so hopefully there was plenty of heads up for you guys there. But once again, this has had a considerable threat tag with it for at least the last 25 to 30 minutes here in Kentucky and the eastern portion of the state. All right, real quickly, because I know before I even look over there, there's going to be a whole lot of questions about what's going on, who's clear, what's this, where's that. So I do want to show you real quickly. A lot of folks have been dropped from the tornado watch. I do expect that Bowling Green, Russellville, Scottsville, Glasgow, all of you folks over here in South Central Kentucky, you should be dropped any minute as well. The only folks that should remain in the tornado watch is going to be the spots where the line has not hit. So again, I do expect a lot of folks to be dropped from that tornado watch. I do want to just circle real quickly the area where I feel like it still has the shot for some severe weather going into the later parts of this morning, and that's going to be out here. So once again, it's the places where the line has not currently hit. So again, anyone outside of that purple zone, if you have any questions on whether you're clear or not, the answer is yes, you are clear. So for 90% of Kentucky, you are clear. It's just this purple zone that's left for this morning. There is another round of storms coming later on today in the afternoon and evening hours. Those should remain non-severe. Our atmosphere is pretty worked over from the rounds that we had last night and this morning. So the storms this afternoon, while there may be a couple that approach the severe line, should mostly remain non-severe. I do not see a tornado threat this afternoon or evening. So at the worst, later on this evening, we might see wind gusts up to 55 mile per hour. That would be the absolute worst. So a much better scenario than what we're looking at now. We've seen several tornado warnings throughout this morning. I'm sure there'll be crews going out to observe those damages. We've seen several microbursts this morning while folks were sleeping. We have seen several flash flood emergencies occurring. You can actually see it in the top. Let me go ahead and scroll that. You can see it up here in the top right portion of your screen. It's out in West Virginia now, but we've actually had some flash flood warnings and flash flood emergencies occurring in eastern Kentucky. So it's been quite the morning while most folks were sleeping throughout the Commonwealth. Once again, I want to just point out that this tornado warning is now starting to diminish. Severe thunderstorm warning exists now for the next hour for Owsley, Leslie, Perry, Knott, Breathitt, and Clay counties in eastern Kentucky until 9:30 a.m. Eastern time for the potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in that part of the line there, as well as from London, Kentucky, back out toward Shopville and Stab for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there. This wind gust threat will remain with this line of storms as it tracks off to the east here, heading out toward the Virginias. I do expect the tornado threat to begin to diminish once you get into those higher terrains of eastern Kentucky. The tornadoes don't really like those higher terrains. They don't really like having to battle all those elevations. So this usually tends to go toward an elevated wind and hail threat. So I feel like we're heading that way now, but I wanted to go ahead and trigger the broadcast because this was at one point an observed dangerous tornado on the ground back out here toward Taft, Kentucky, just to the east of Island City. I do expect that we'll see several damage reports out of that area, everywhere from Annville to Buckhorn. I do expect that we'll see several damage reports over the next coming hours there. I do feel like at some point this morning we also may have had a tornado touchdown somewhere between Caneyville and Sonora. I do also feel like there may have been a tornado touching down somewhere near Brownsville to Horse Cave, and so on and so forth. But we're awaiting reports there as the sun rises. We'll start to see some of those reports begin to come in. But that's where we stand right now. Again, trigger the broadcast because this was an observed tornado on the ground. And anytime that occurs, we immediately trigger the broadcast no matter what. Again, doesn't matter what the radar says at that point. It has been observed. So we go ahead and just trigger at that point. Again, Janelle, I've already answered that. Western Kentucky, again, same thing for West Kentucky. Strong storms later on this afternoon and evening. Do not expect them to be robustly severe like we've seen this morning. London, Kentucky is under that severe thunderstorm warning currently for the next 26 minutes, or 17 minutes, sorry, for the potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this line. Nermina, there was a tornado on the ground. At this point, I do feel confident saying it's probably back up in the atmosphere. You're probably just looking at straight line winds out there. But yes, this has been an observed tornado previously. Annville, Kentucky, you just experienced some really strong winds out there. I was measuring 78-mile-per-hour winds at one point near Annville, Kentucky. Hopefully, you're all okay out there. We'll see how that trends throughout the afternoon or the morning when we get those storm reports in. But the worst of it is definitely away from you now. Somerset, Kentucky, this strong storm is moving into your area right now. It looks like it's already coming that way. You'll get this backside area right here. Not severe, but it is strong. Again, I just want to reiterate, I'm not going to spin this broadcast, and it's not to be rude, but since this has been a dangerous tornado, I'm going to focus on it specifically. But I'm going to draw this area for you here. If you are in this bottom right portion of Kentucky, very far southeastern Kentucky, this is the only place where we expect activity over the next couple of hours. Everywhere else in Kentucky, you're completely fine, all clear. Just some strong thunderstorms later on this afternoon and evening, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. When it comes to this round, you're all clear, nothing else expected. So if you do not see your city listed in this map right here, you are all clear. If you're not in southeastern Kentucky, and you're in the other 90% of Kentucky, you are all clear. We do have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that are present once again for Hazard, Hindman, Pipit passes up toward Buckhorn, Krypton, and so on and so forth. This is once again for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust in those areas. Another severe thunderstorm warning is present from London to about Science Hill for the potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there too. I want to check the velocity charts out once more here. Starting to see another pocket of rotation down here towards Spurlock, going towards Size Rock and 1,000 Ticks. Or 1,000 Sticks, Kentucky. Let's see how that one plays out over the next few minutes. The main area that triggered the tornado warning, that triggered the broadcast, that one is dying out. Let's see how this one to the south here does. It's starting to brighten up here. Again, not going to get into too many specific locations here, guys. We've spent all morning forecasting it for you. Quite frankly, we spent the last 48 hours forecasting it for you. All that information is all over our pages. Right now, we're focused on the immediate threat in southeastern Kentucky. Everywhere else in Kentucky, you're completely all clear. So if you're in the 80% out here, you're all clear. It's just this bottom right portion of the state at this point. Jennifer, thank you. Caitlin, thank you very much. And again, if I'm sounding rude, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. But when it comes to immediate threats like this, we like to be very prompt, very clear, very clean cut. I don't like to confuse information here. Tornado warning has expired. I do want to make sure we're still watching this bottom corner right here, just to the south of where the original tornado warning was. Sometimes when tornado warnings go down in one area, they can go up on the southern side of the area. So I want to make sure I'm watching this bottom corner of this line right here. Again, Bowling Green's all clear. I do not mind what the watch says. I know the watch is still up. I know that. Bowling Green is all clear. Again, sometimes those watches can take a while to go down or go get canceled or go away. Just know that Bowling Green is all clear. I promise you. Again, the tornado warning was from Annville back out here in eastern Kentucky all the way toward Buckhorn. Tornado warning has since expired. It was observed at one point on the ground as a dangerous tornado. Also looked very dangerous on radar as well. Probably our strongest, most impressive signature of the morning so far. And that's saying something because we've had several warnings. But it was by far the cleanest signature of a tornado that we've seen this morning. Very confident that we'll see damage reports coming out of that area. Again, we're watching this southern portion of this flank of this line here, just to the south of Juanita, just to the east of Manchester, for the potential for maybe another spin up there. I hope so, Mandy. My voice is just about gone. I hope it doesn't sound like it, but I'm trying everything I can here to get the voice going out. Again, we're focused on the areas that are currently impacted. So again, severe thunderstorm warning for Laurel, Pulaski, and Rockcastle County. That goes for the next 13 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern time. For the next 43 minutes, there's going to be a warning in Owsley, Leslie, Perry, Knott, Breathitt, and Clay counties. Once again, I want to reiterate to you folks that I'm going to draw a little line here. That this, quite frankly, is the only area that we're focused on for now. This is the only area that has any severe potential for the rest of the morning here. Everywhere else in Kentucky, this line's already past you, which means your severe threat is over. I understand that there might be a watch still up. Sometimes those watches take forever to get canceled or expired. I know that they are continuously dropping the watch little by little. But I'm telling you that this is the only corner of the state that has any chance of any severe weather. You can look on the radar for yourself and see that nothing is occurring. So, again, we're only focused on this bottom right portion of the state. I'm not going to refer to any questions or answers about any other areas. So, again, don't mean to be rude about that, but we've spent the last 48 hours giving you all kinds of forecasting information. I want to make sure we're getting these folks that are under the immediate threat up to date on what to expect, just like we would for you if it was in your area. So I just want to make sure we're getting that cleaned up and ready to go. Let's see here. Yeah. All right. So let's check back in here on the wind gust and velocity charts here. Thank you guys so much for your understanding on that, by the way. Well, I appreciate you guys. Okay, no more rotation really in there at all. Looks like that's completely died down. I'm still going to hang out on the broadcast here for a few minutes. I want to make sure this doesn't pulse back up before I hit the end button. No, this would be the only line in London, Sierra. So once this line is through London, you're good. Again, more storms are expected this afternoon and this evening, guys, but there is no tornado threat with those storms this afternoon and evening, and the severe threat is quite low this afternoon and evening for those storms. Matter of fact, the only real threat is wind gusts up to 55 mile per hour, and that's not technically severe. It's strong, but it's not technically severe. No, this is the only line right here. Sorry, sometimes I gotta get my stern pants on because I look over and I've said something several times, but I want to make sure. I just want to make sure we're getting the clear information out to try and avoid any confusion or misinformation. Because sometimes people just spam something in the chat, like a watch or something, and I'm just trying to make sure that yes, I know there's a watch up, but again, a lot of those they just take a while to fall off. Like for example, there's nothing happening out here. This should have already been canceled, but I don't control that part, so I have to try to make I have to just try to my best to make it clear that there's no threat out there. Again, Patrick, I understand there's trying to watch out there, but it's all clear, my friend. Jan, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate that. Yeah, Williamsburg is going to be really close to this outside line here. These are moving pretty much east at this point. Going to be really close. Monticello, Kentucky looks like it's going to miss you unless you're on the very far northern side of Monticello. You might see a little bit of raindrops, but looks like it's going to miss Monticello. Again, this area right here that you see on your screen right now is the only area that has any possible severe risk for the next hour or so. So again, if you do not see yourself on this picture here, and you obviously you should probably know where you're at on the map. This is the only area that has any chance to see any severe weather from the rest of this line here. Once this line is past you, you're all clear. Tornado was observed near Taft, Kentucky, just to the east of Annville, right here right here near where my cursor is. Wow, that was kind of tricky to say. Barberville, it's going to be, again, you're kind of in that same line as Monticello, Williamsburg. Going to be really, really, really close. Knott County, Ray. Knott. Wheelwright, you're in the path of this severe thunderstorm warning here. Hopefully it dies down by the time it gets to you, but you got about 30 minutes till it reaches your location, maybe give or take a few minutes there. Main threat, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. How long till it's past Prestonsburg? Probably about another 25 minutes or so. Jordan, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, Somerset, you got about 20 minutes till it's past you, then you'll be all good. Island City, this is currently past your location. You should now be entering the all clear area. Again, once this line passes you, you're good to go. Again, Campbellsville's in Central Kentucky. It's all clear. Grim with the $5 donation on YouTube. I appreciate that. Says thanks for the work you do. I appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much. Strong thunderstorm statement just went up for Somerset to Burnside out there. Again, not quite severe, but a strong thunderstorm ongoing there from Russell Springs to Burnside to Ferguson, Somerset there. Again, in London, you got that severe thunderstorm warning there, as well as Bernstadt, so on and so forth for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust in that location. Going through the line here, some strong thunderstorms, but not quite severe in this area. Let's see here. Make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, Juanita to Saul to Confluence to Hazard, so on and so forth. All those gajillion small towns in eastern Kentucky. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in that warning box. That's the best way to explain it. That is just ridiculous. Strong thunderstorms ongoing up here in eastern Kentucky from Prestonsburg to Gunlock to Betsy Lane to Blue Moon. Again, all those good moonshine cities out in eastern Kentucky there. Strong thunderstorms ongoing there. Over here to the eastern Kentucky, Virginia's borders. Pilgrim, Davella, Job, strong thunderstorms ongoing there. Once this line passes you, once again, you are in the all clear. So we're really only focused on this very far southeastern corner of the state here. Okay, I think we're good to go. I'm glad it's just kind of a quick broadcast. Yeah, I don't really see anything happening here. I was about 5 minutes late to triggering the broadcast. I had to use the potty and get it all set back up. Forgot to set it back up after I got done this morning. That's why I was a little bit late. Sorry about that, guys. But I'll keep posting on Twitter. I'll keep posting on Facebook. We'll keep having things rolling here. Again, if you haven't already, follow our Twitter. If I can find the... Come on, there we go. If I can find it. Here you go, at Weather Now KY. Also, of course, Weather Now Kentucky on Facebook for more updates as we post them. What did Reed say? Yeah, so Reed was talking about the tornado that we talked about here in Island City. So, again, he saw the correlation drop as well. So, again, really clear signature on radar that was a pretty good one. Anyway, thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to all of you guys for hanging out with us today. Hopefully, it's the last time you have to see me today. Other than that, we'll be posting updates for you guys on the page. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster, here with Weather Now Kentucky. Until next time, stay safe, folks.